Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something. If you truly want to change your life, if you really want to unlock that next level of success, peace, and purpose, then you've got to stop sleeping through your blessings. You've got to get up. And not just get up, you've got to rise up before the rest of the world. I'm talking about waking up at 4 a.m. Now, I already know what some of you are thinking. Steve, why would anybody in their right mind get up at 4 o'clock in the morning? And to that I say, because your destiny don't sleep. Your opportunity don't hit snooze. And success? Success wakes up early and it leaves the house by 5. If you ain't up by then, you missing it. Waking up early gives you a head start while the world sleeps. There is something deeply powerful about starting your day before the rest of the world even opens its eyes. When you wake up at 4 a.m., you're not just getting out of bed. You're making a silent statement that your goals matter, that your time is precious, and that your future is worth sacrificing a few hours of sleep. The world around you is quiet. No notifications buzzing, no cars honking, no voices pulling your attention in 10 different directions. It's just you and the moment. That silence is where winners are made. Because in that stillness, you have room to think clearly, to breathe, and to plan your moves without the noise of the outside world distracting you. You begin to tap into your vision with a new kind of clarity. You see, people who get up early start the race of the day before everyone else even shows up at the track. Think about it. By the time most folks are hitting snooze for the 3rd time, the early risers have already worked out, read a chapter from a book, finished journaling, meditated, prayed, planned out their task, or started working on their craft. That's not magic. That's discipline and intention. That's taking control of your life instead of letting life control you. The early morning hours are like bonus time, time that most people waste in bed, but successful people use to build something better. There's an energy in the morning that you just can't find in the afternoon or evening. It's fresh, it's calm, it's focused. That energy is pure gold for anyone trying to grow. When you move early, you move with purpose. Your thoughts are sharper, your decisions are clearer, and your day begins with you choosing what matters most, not just reacting to what the world throws at you. That's the edge you get. You're not competing on the same level as everyone else. You're operating on a different frequency. And let's talk about the compound effect. One day of waking up early might not feel like a major breakthrough, but do it for a week, a month, a year, and watch what happens. The small tasks you accomplish during those early hours begin to stack up. You gain momentum, you feel more confident, you become more productive. You stop feeling overwhelmed because you're no longer behind, you're ahead. And when you live ahead of the curve, stress shrinks and creativity expands. You're not scrambling anymore. You're designing your day, your path, your future. What makes waking up at 4 a.m. powerful isn't just the hour. It's what it represents. It's the sacrifice of comfort for growth. It's the rejection of excuses. It's the embrace of ownership over your time. Most people let their circumstances run their schedule. But when you wake up early, you're taking your power back. You're saying, before the world tells me who I should be today, I'll decide that for myself. Some of the most successful people in the world swear by this practice. It's not because they're superheroes, it's because they understand the value of time. You can't buy more of it, but you can use it better. That quiet space between 4 and 6 a.m. is where champions train while the world sleeps. It's where dreams get mapped out, where ideas become plans, and where confidence gets built one quiet moment at a time. The quiet hours of 4 a.m. are where clarity, creativity, and purpose are found. There is something undeniably special about the world before sunrise. When the streets are empty, the sky is still dark, and the noise of everyday life hasn't begun. That time belongs to no one else but you. In those early hours, your mind isn't cluttered with distractions, stress, or responsibilities. You're not being pulled in 1,000 directions. That mental stillness is a powerful gift, and it's the perfect environment for deep thinking, self-reflection, and creative breakthrough. It's in those moments that your thoughts are purest and your intentions are strongest. You start to connect to what truly matters, to the big picture, to the reason behind everything you're striving for. Most people never allow themselves that kind of silence. They wake up rushed, scrambling to get ready, already late before the day begins. But when you start your day at 4 a.m., the pressure is gone. You're not rushing, you're flowing. That space gives your mind room to breathe, to stretch, to imagine. You begin to hear your own inner voice louder than the opinions of others. The early morning hours become a personal sanctuary, a sacred space to think about who you are and who you become. Clarity doesn't come when you're overwhelmed or distracted. It comes when you're still. And there's no better time for stillness than when the rest of the world is asleep. This is also the time where creativity shows up without resistance. Whether you're a writer, a thinker, a planner, a dreamer, or a builder, this is your golden window. There are no interruptions, no meetings, no emails, no deadlines chasing you. Just you, your thoughts, and the freedom to let your ideas flow without judgment or pressure. Some of the most creative minds in history swore by the power of early morning. It's not just about working more hours. It's about working better hours. Hours when your brain is fresh, when your soul is connected, and when your ideas aren't buried under the noise of the day. Purpose becomes clearer when you consistently spend time with yourself. That's the beauty of waking up before the world. You're not just reacting to life, you're intentionally shaping it. In that silence, you remember why you started. You reconnect with your vision. You realign with your values. You begin to ask the right questions. What am I building? What matters most to me? What impact do I want to leave? That kind of introspection doesn't happen in chaos. It happens in calm. It happens when you give yourself the space to truly listen to what's inside of you. People often say they don't have time to reflect or create or think deeply. The truth is they do have the time. They're just giving it away to everything and everyone else. When you reclaim your morning, you reclaim your mind. You're no longer living on autopilot. You're making conscious choices about how to use your energy, your focus, and your attention. That choice is what separates people who drift through life from those who lead it with intention and vision. Getting up at 4 a.m. isn't about being extreme. It's about being aligned. Aligned with your goals, your spirit, your creativity, your calling. It's not just a new habit. It's a new relationship with yourself. One built on discipline, on truth, and on trust. You begin to trust that every quiet hour spent growing in the dark is preparing you for the light. You trust that your ideas, your gifts, your purpose, they're all waiting for you to show up and meet them in that silence. Discipline at dawn sets the tone for an unstoppable day. When you choose to wake up before the sun, before the noise, before the world starts demanding things from you, you're doing something that most people won't. You're telling your mind and your body that you're in control. You're showing up for yourself when it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, and when it will be easy to stay in bed. That decision builds a foundation of strength that carries into everything else you do. You don't start your day behind, you start ahead. And that head start is about more than time, it's about mindset. You've already made your first win of the day. You've already proven that you're stronger than your excuses. And from that moment on, you carry that energy into every choice you make. Discipline in the morning sharpens your focus. It's not just about waking up, it's about what you do with that time. Do you go to the gym when it's still dark out? Do you open a book when everyone else is sleeping? Do you plan your day, review your goals, or sit in silence and listen to your thoughts? That level of intentionality becomes a pattern. It rewires your brain to prioritize progress over comfort. Your brain begins to expect effort. It begins to crave structure, clarity, and momentum. You stop letting the day happen to you, and you begin directing it, shaping it, leading it with purpose. Most people think motivation is what gets things done. But motivation is a feeling, and feelings come and go. Discipline is a commitment. Discipline is what kicks in when motivation doesn't show up. When you've practiced the habit of getting up early, even on the days you don't want to, that discipline spills into everything else. You start keeping your promises. You start following through. You start working when others are resting, learning when others are wasting time, and growing when others are complaining. The way you start your morning becomes the standard for how you carry yourself all day. There's a powerful confidence that grows when you know you're doing the work. You're not guessing. You're not hoping. You're preparing. And preparation breeds confidence. When you've already accomplished more before 7 a.m. than most people will by noon, you walk different. You talk different. You carry yourself with a quiet power that comes from knowing you're not lucky. You're ready, you've earned every step. That kind of discipline sets you apart. It's not loud, it doesn't seek attention, but it builds results that speak for themselves. And when adversity hits, and it always will, it's your discipline that keeps you grounded. It reminds you that you've faced harder moments and pushed through. It reminds you that you have structure, that you have habits, that you have a rhythm that cannot be broken by stress or setbacks. Your early morning discipline becomes your armor. It's the reason you don't quit. It's the reason you stay calm under pressure. It's the reason people look at you and wonder how you do it all. But the truth is, you're just doing what you committed to do when it wasn't easy. Every morning is a choice to either stay the same or to rise a little higher. When you practice discipline at dawn, you're not just building a better day, you're building a better you. That version of you shows up in your business, in your relationships, in your mindset, in your growth. That version of you doesn't rely on chance or wait for inspiration. That version shows up with intention, with grit, and with fire, because discipline creates consistency, and consistency creates unstoppable momentum. Successful people don't wait on motivation. They move with commitment. The difference between people who reach their goals and those who stay stuck in the same cycle is not talent, intelligence, or even luck. It's commitment. It's the decision to do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. Motivation is a temporary feeling. It's emotional. It's inconsistent. One day you have it, the next day you don't. It rises with inspiration and falls with frustration. But commitment doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't care about how tired you are or how discouraged you feel. Commitment says, I show up regardless. That is the mindset that separates success from excuses. Waking up at 4 a.m. requires that kind of commitment. There's nothing magical about the hour itself, is what it represents. It represents ownership over your time, control over your actions, and dedication to your dreams. Nobody is cheering for you at that hour. There's no applause, no camera, no praise. It's just you and the alarm clock. That's where character is built. That's where discipline is tested. That's where you find out how serious you really are about the life you say you want. It's easy to be excited when things are new or when you're seeing quick results. But true Growth lives in the moments when it's hard, when progress is slow, and when nobody's watching. That's where commitment shines. You don't need to feel motivated every morning to wake up early. You need to be committed to the version of yourself you're trying to become. Motivation might get you started, but it won't sustain you. Commitment is what makes you consistent, and consistency is what brings results. The people you look up to, the ones you admire, the ones living the life you dream of, they didn't rely on feeling inspired every day. They made a choice to prioritize their goals over their comfort, a choice to show up early, stay late, and do the work no matter what. When you stop depending on motivation, you start building real discipline. You stop waiting to feel ready and start taking action. You stop negotiating with yourself. You start operating from a place of purpose, not feelings. You understand that greatness isn't about how loud your passion is. It's about how steady your process is. When you committed, you don't need to be hyped up. You're focused. You're grounded. You've made up your mind that this is what you're doing, and you don't need external validation to keep going. Commitment also builds trust with yourself. Every time you wake up early and stick to your plan, you're proving to yourself that you can be counted on. You stop breaking promises to yourself. You stop saying, I'll start tomorrow or maybe next week. You create momentum, and that momentum builds confidence. You start to believe in your own word. You start to believe that you're capable of achieving more because every day you're showing up and doing more. Success is not reserved for the most talented or the most motivated. It belongs to the most committed, the ones who decide once and for all that they will not be denied. They will not settle. They will not waste time waiting to feel inspired. They create their own momentum through daily action. They understand that consistency, not emotion, is what drives transformation. They don't let feelings lead their life. They let their values lead. They let their goals lead. They let their discipline lead. That's the power of commitment. It gives you the strength to keep going, the courage to push through resistance, and the focus to keep building even when progress feels invisible. Waking up early gives you control over your life instead of reacting to it. Most people begin their day already behind, scrambling to catch up, letting the world dictate their schedule, their energy, and their mindset. From the moment the alarm goes off, they're in a rush. Checking messages, running out the door, reacting to demands, and trying to squeeze themselves into a day that's already gotten away from them. But when you rise at 4 a.m., you flip the script. You're not reacting, you're commanding. You're not following chaos, you're leading with clarity. That early start gives you the time to focus on what truly matters before anything else has a chance to interfere. There's a sense of peace and power that comes with being ahead of the noise. The world is still, distractions are at zero, and your attention is your own. That's when you start shaping your day instead of letting it shape you. You set your priorities, not your inbox. You define your attitude, not social media. You move with purpose because you've already had the time to center yourself before anyone else places the demand on you. That control is what creates real freedom. The freedom to think clearly, act intentionally, and live on your terms. In those early hours, you're not rushing from task to task. You're moving with intention. You're not reacting to problems. You're preparing solutions. You're not overwhelmed by everything coming at you. You're ahead of it all, calm and grounded. That shift creates an entirely different experience of life. Instead of living in constant reaction mode, you've set in a rhythm instead of being pulled by it. That gives you power. That gives you stability. That gives you time to lead your life rather than just survive it. When you start your day with control, everything else falls into place more naturally. You eat better because you're not making choices in a hurry. You think more clearly because your mind isn't fogged by stress. You work more effectively because you've already set your goals and organized your priorities. That control radiates into your relationships, your work, your health, and your mindset. You're no longer a victim of time, you're the master of it. And that alone changes how you feel about everything. People often say they don't have time to take care of themselves, to think, to plan, or grow. But the truth is, time is created by priorities. Waking up early creates time. It opens up space that's often lost to the snooze button or wasted in panic and rush. It's not about adding more hours to your day. It's about reclaiming the most valuable ones. The first hours of the day hold the most influence over your energy, your focus, and your discipline. When you control those hours, you control the direction of your entire day. Taking charge of your morning is a commitment to your life. It's a promise that you will not let life pass you by while you're busy reacting. It's an act of leadership, starting with yourself. The world will always try to pull you in 100 directions. There will always be emergencies, messages, distractions, and interruptions. But if you've already anchored your day, if you've already decided what matters and how you will show up, none of that can shake you. That sense of control gives you confidence. It gives you certainty. It gives you peace in a world that thrives on pressure. Waking up at 4 a.m. isn't just about time. It's about intention. It's about saying, I will not live on autopilot. I will not be at the mercy of everyone else's urgency. I will lead my life with focus, with clarity, and with purpose. Taking control of your morning is the first step to taking control of your future. It's not always easy, but the reward is worth it. Because once you realize you have power over how your day begins, you start to understand just how much power you have over how your life unfolds. If you own your morning, you own your life. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. When you start from a place of intention, discipline, and focus, that energy follows you into your decisions, your habits, and your mindset throughout the day. The morning isn't just a block of time. It's a foundation. It's where momentum is built, where clarity is created, and where you choose whether you're going to lead your life or just watch it pass you by. Waking up early, especially at 4 a.m., is about claiming ownership of that foundation before the world can lay its hands on it. It's about putting yourself first in the most powerful way possible, not selfishly, but strategically. When you wake up early, you have a quiet space to work on the things that matter most to you, whether it's your health, your goals, your spiritual life, your mindset, or your personal growth. Those early hours become a sanctuary for transformation. You're not pulled into tasks, texts, or expectations. You're free to decide how your day will start instead of being forced into a rhythm that doesn't align with your values. Owning your morning means you rise with purpose, not panic. You don't wake up reacting to alarms, messages, or problems. You wake up to lead, to grow, to prepare. That shift in energy changes your entire life. There's a psychological edge that comes from starting your day with intentionality. You've already completed a commitment. You've already won the first battle. Getting out of bed when it's easier to stay in it. That single action reinforces a deeper belief in yourself. It says you're disciplined. It says you follow through. It says you're willing to do what most people want so you can live how most people can't. That belief compounds. Day by day, the small victories in the morning build into massive wins over time. You stop questioning your potential because every morning you prove to yourself that you're capable of more. Owning your morning also sharpens your focus. You're not trying to multitask your way through chaos. You've already grounded yourself. You've already viewed your goals, set your intentions, and align your priorities. That clarity gives you direction. You don't waste time throughout the day trying to figure out what matters. You've already decided. That single decision saves you energy, boosts your productivity, and helps you operate with precision. Instead of being reactive, you become proactive. You handle your responsibilities with more grace and less stress because your mind isn't cluttered. It's clear and ready. Owning your morning elevates your confidence. There's an internal pride that comes from doing the hard things when nobody's watching. It's not about perfection. It's about commitment. It's about being consistent even when motivation isn't there. That consistency builds trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself, you move differently. You walk into rooms with presence. You speak with certainty. You take action without hesitation. That self-trust is one of the most powerful forms of confidence you can carry. And it starts the moment you choose to rise with purpose. Most people live on defense. They let their schedule, their environment, and other people control how they feel and what they do. But when you own your morning, you flip the entire dynamic. You take the driver's seat. You become intentional about your time, your energy, and your direction. You create space for growth, reflection, and execution. You stop chasing balance and start building alignment. Your life starts working for you instead of against you because you've made the choice to lead, to design, and to act with clarity. The morning is where momentum begins. The discipline to rise early becomes the catalyst for all other disciplines. You eat better, think sharper, move with purpose, and operate with vision because you've taken ownership of the only thing you can truly control, yourself. You don't need the perfect plan. You need the right pattern. And waking up early is one of the most powerful patterns you can build to create lasting change, lasting growth, and a life that's driven by purpose rather than pressure.